Good afternoon, welcome to Parish News Network. My name is Dalton. I'm going to be your journalist for the day, whatever you want to call me. Essentially, I want to go over a couple different things. I would like to go over the BOCC meeting. I think I'm going to cover that first because there's a lot more to go over with that. And then I'm going to cover this Pope Ranch development, and we're going to go from there. I'm going to give you guys some documentation, some information, things like that. So thank you for everybody that's signed the petitions. The thing that we were initially asking for, unfortunately, I do not think is going to happen. Keep signing the petitions. Please keep signing the petitions. The petitions are important to what we're trying to do here. With all that being said, I really do appreciate it, guys. 700 in 2 days is a huge achievement, and we really, Hazel, and we really do appreciate it. Also, you guys have to show up to these meetings. Call-in comments is 100% acceptable as well. The call-in comments, I would highly suggest, if you guys would like to comment on future agenda items, which is about flooding, about development, things like that. It is not just land use meetings. When you guys comment on future agenda items, that is for all of the meetings. It covers everything that they would like to put on the agenda in the future. Keep calling in. Keep going to these meetings. I am taking time off work. I'm taking money out of my pocket to go to these meetings to fight for you guys, and I am happily doing it. I am not complaining, not one bit. So the land use meeting, there was a couple, or excuse me, the regular BOCC meeting, there was a couple things that was discussed that I'd like to go over, and then we're going to go over Pope Ranch development towards the end. So the BOCC meeting, there was some awards given. There was a project that was talked about that I'm going to talk about later, and then there was some other things that I'd really like to point out. That is a super big win for us. So first of all, in my opinion, Manatee County is backpedaling super hard. They are super nervous about all of these petitions coming in, and they know what this means. They know, unfortunately, that this is the end of the road. I don't really know what else to say other than that. I mean, you know, these petitions, I feel like, have sent them into a super hard frenzy to try and correct or to make things right, so to speak, as much as possible. With that, the wetland buffer has been restored. It is now a 50-foot wetland buffer. It is not 20 feet. It is not 5 feet. It is not right on the wetland. It is a 50-foot buffer again. Now, that was not reflected in the Land Development Code, the LDC. That was only reflected in the comp plan, which is what these developers have to use in order to change the zoning of an area. So, in other words, if you live on a house on Rutland Road that is not in a community, it's just you own the land outright, you might, you know, make a mortgage on the house or whatever, you're zoned either agricultural or residential, and that's it. Now, when you start getting into these developments, it's, you know, multi-use or whatever the case is, and that allows them to do commercial property, multiple units on the same acre, things like that. There's a lot of complex stuff that goes into that, and I'm not going to get into that today, but the 50-foot wetland buffer is a huge win for us. They also discussed in great length about the attorney fees for the previous county commissioner, that he did not lose his case, but he decided that the lawyer fees were racking up too fast on one side or the other. It was really more Manatee's side than it was anywhere else. $250,000 is a lot of money, and I would frankly get scared too, so I do not blame him. But there was the motion, though it didn't really go anywhere, that they were asked essentially to get rid of the attorney fees. Now, the county attorney essentially said, I would advise against that. You know, there has not been anything set, but if that is your directive, we will go with that. Ultimately, that's still under advisement. The wetland buffer was voted on right then and there. As soon as it was said, essentially, Jason Bearden pushed through it. I mean, he was just a bulldog today, and I give him props for that. He essentially said, bump it, I'm gonna do it, and you guys are gonna vote as you voted. And so that passed, resounding 6-0, and I'm definitely appreciative of that. The temporary moratorium that we were looking for with this petition, I'm not very hopeful that it's going to happen. That's not to say that it will not happen, but the way that it was explained to me is that they're not going to put thousands of people's jobs in jeopardy. That's their concern, that's their words. You know, you've got plumbers and electricians and site development companies, mom and pop companies at that, and some of them that are counting on these projects, that they don't want to disparage or hinder people possibly losing their jobs, which for that I would say is commendable. But at the same time, the fact of the matter is, we have a problem, and we have a flooding problem, and we're slowly getting all the facts, we're slowly getting all the information out about it. Please bear with me. This BOCC meeting was the first of many where we hope to gain a lot of victories. Hopefully the new board does a lot, but I am pushing for these commissioners, and I am trying to actively sit down with these commissioners and get one-on-one time with them where I can lay out a lot of the issues and a lot of the problems, so they start to understand you know, what's going on. A lot of these commissioners don't understand what's going on. They only know what they're being told, and that's a very one-sided story. Ray Turner made the comment that, well, every time that you guys threaten to sue, then you know, we are told to clam up, we're told to not say anything because, you know, that we can say the wrong thing or whatever is the, you know, the inferred part of what he said. I disagree with that. Unfortunately, as we've seen here in Manatee County, no lawyer in Manatee County is going to take this case. It's just not going to happen. And unfortunately, I am sorry to tell you, but I don't think that civil litigation is going to gain anything from this issue. We as the taxpayers are going to be paying for that civil litigation if there is anything put out there. And from what Manatee County's saying and from what I'm seeing, that's just not a possibility. That's not to say that we can't keep pursuing everything to the fullest extent and get great results out of what we're asking for. I just don't think litigation or compensation or anything like that is gonna happen. So let's nip that in the bud right here, right now. I'm not really worried about that. What I'm worried about, protecting the wetlands. I want to see more restrictions on these developers. I again had the conversation with this individual, and I explained that if you can do in Northport, essentially, for those of you that don't know, in Northport you cannot change your hot water heater without a permit, and if you are caught changing your hot water heater without a permit, i.e. you put it out to the road, they fine you. You know, like, they are very sneaky as to how they find out you are doing something without a permit. And so if Northport inside of Sarasota County can do it, Manatee County can do it. And I told him the exact same thing. This is a possibility. You guys can implement higher standards on these developers and make it where their infrastructure is more ironclad and it protects all of the surrounding properties. You know, there was some back and forth discord, but he was very open, he was very honest about his opinions. I was very honest and very blunt about mine, and he seemed to take it very well. And I give him mad props for meeting with me right after the meeting and taking my concerns seriously. there was a couple hoops that I essentially was asked to jump through, which is I need a minimum of 10 signatures in order to do a 10-minute presentation for a future agenda item for Manatee County. And essentially this is me representing these 10 signatures and doing a 10-minute presentation to the county saying, you know, what the problems are, what we're trying to go for, and just a general Barney style synopsis of what's going on. You know, Barney style presentation. You know, this is the problem, this is you know, how this system works, this is, you know, what's happened, blah blah blah. With all of that being said as well, you know, I talked in length about a lot of different things that has happened in Manatee County in the last couple years, a lot of things that have been sidetracked, a lot of push-offs, you know, things like that. And Manatee County is starting to acknowledge that there is a problem. Do not think for a minute that Manatee County does not know that there is a problem. Going to the land development meeting, or excuse me, going to the Pope Ranch Zoom meeting, these developers were very, very scripted in their answers. They are that way for a reason. They are not going to tell you how to defeat them. Do not ask. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but this is a multi-front issue and they are here to make money. They said in the meeting that the landowner, which is Daniel Pope, that is why it's called Pope Ranch, that's who owns the land, and I'll give you some quick information on that. So the person that owns this land is Daniel Pope. The parcel IDs for the first piece of land, let's see, hold on just a second. The first piece of land, which is the one that has public access, is 92.22 acres total. Parcel ID 49491509. Physical address 16525 County Road 675. Do not do anything stupid with this information. I am not responsible for what you do. The second, if I can get my phone to load, the second property which is attached to that property is owned by the same two people. It's 208.29 acres, which most of it is looking at being developed, and the parcel ID is 494915109. Daniel and Rebecca Pope. So with that being said, anybody that is around this community, I would highly suggest that you go to the meetings. Go to the public meetings. As soon as they are posted, as soon as you've seen those yellow signs, start taking notice, log it down on your calendar. You need to go to these meetings. These meetings are super important, and as an adjacent property owner to this development, it is very concerning. And everybody that has property right around these properties, I would, Jim Davis Road specifically, 6R75, don't let them lie to you and say that, you know, this stuff is above grade, blah blah blah, we're gonna, you know, cut 50% of runoff, 50% of water outlet, blah blah. That's all garbage. I'm sorry, don't believe it for a second. We've already seen this with Creekside on our side of the road, and we've already had problems with these developments and the way that they're getting built. Though I want to say I have talked to the developer, well, excuse me, not the developer, but the land developer, the person that's actually doing the dirt work for the land, and they are spending their own money to tell these engineers that the way that it is currently engineered is going to flood out these surrounding properties, and they are making changes. They are working with this developer to actively get things changed, and that is word for word from their mouth. So keep fighting, guys. Do not give up. Do not be discouraged. Keep signing that petition. As more information comes out, I'm going to put it out. I have a bunch of pictures and things I'm going to put on the tail end of this of different infrastructure and things like that that is in the surrounding areas that I've documented. Some of it is low light. It was very dark and I was doing it by flashlight, but I just want to kind of, you know, give you guys a representation as to what is going on in different areas of the community. One that I'm going to show you is at the Rye Bridge at Manatee, coming from the Rye Preserve. And there is a solar panel that I pictured, and I did show this to the person I talked to at the county. You know, it's halfway covered with dirt or sludge or whatever it is, and you can tell like something's wiped it off, but it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's not charging whatever part of the system is supposed to be reading, you know, the levels and different instrumentation devices in the river. And so I have brought a lot of this to their attention, and I'm going to tag all these different photos and things like that. Historical markers, different infrastructure that I found in surrounding communities, like Rye Wilderness. I have the historical marker for the town of Rye, which is in the Rye Preserve. And I also have a bunch of pictures at the Rye Bridge and in the Rye Ranch community that I'd like to show you guys. And I am going to be going into Braden River and looking at the lake and the different structures and things that are there. I've gotten some pictures off of Google Maps that I want to check out, and some different things that I want to take a look at. And as soon as I get that information, I am going to try and do a little video on that. And I've also, some of these pictures are also the creek, which is the Manatee River when it runs through the park before it gets out to Rye. So pay attention. Those, you know, a lot of those will have these big blue water pipes in there, a lot of shrubs and trees and things like that. And pay attention to these white sandy banks, because that's where all this you know, sediment and stuff has washed into the creek. It's washed downstream, things like that. Unfortunately, you do kind of have to become an expert on a lot of this stuff. So if you guys can, please like, comment, subscribe, share this information, get it out there as far and wide as you can. And as soon as I know more, I'll put it out there, guys. I really do appreciate your time. Thank you for everything that you guys are doing on your end. The more that we keep the community engaged and the more that you guys interact with my content, the farther my content will go. So I really, really do appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys getting me to 47 subs. I literally just need 3 more subs. I need 50 subs in order to go live on a mobile platform, i.e. my phone, my tablet, my GoPro, things like that, where I can get this quality footage for you guys on site, and I can do these videos like this one, unscripted, just off the cuff. I don't really believe at doing stuff, you know, scripted and stuff like that. So if any of you guys have any questions, please reach out to me. My YouTube will be linked down in the description, or excuse me, my email will be linked down in the description. I don't really do email, so I want to start checking it a little more thoroughly, and you guys are more than welcome to email me. I actually just got one just now. I was at the Zoom meeting. It was very, yeah. Okay, cool. This is actually somebody that is running for county commissioner for District 1, and I see that your cell phone's in there, and I will get a hold of you. So I just want to document a little video footage as well. This is Rye at Upper Manatee. recording the Manatee River. So I got some good pictures inside the park too. So that was the north side. This is the south side, more or less. Get some footage. You see where it's all eroded, where it all overflowed. But what I want to bring your attention to, I'm trying not to drop my phone in the water because that'd be a really bad day. Look at that solar panel for me. Look how dirty it is. You see something's like wiped it off some, but how is that accurately charging and transmitting data if the solar panel's dirty? And also, there's the antenna in the box, and the box is leaned over. I'm gonna have to canoe or kayak this one day. We're gonna walk over here on the other side of the bridge for one more second. There's one more thing I want to show you guys. Turn it back where it's still horizontal. There seems to be a piece of drainage infrastructure right there, which drains directly to the river.